yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Born and dead, saved by love, count my blessing from above. Though in darkness, have no fear. Light will shine on those holding near. They know that sorrow they will pass. For I know in this life there will be something. But remember that love, yes it will. Love will reign. Yeah. Love will reign. Yeah. In my heart, I believe it. Love will reign. Oh, yeah, yeah. Have a vision, it's clear and plain. People living life, smiling again. Oh, see the children, they know no pain. Far from pressure, stress and strain. Oh, sorrow, they will pass. For I know in this life there's gonna be some pain. But remember that love, yes it will. I know. Yeah. Love will reign. Gotta believe it. In my heart, I truly believe. Sun will shine again in love. I can hardly wait. We'll all be together. There'll be peace, peace, sweet peace, happiness and joy forever. Oh. One day, someday, hate will be over and love will reign. They won't last, for I know in this life there's gonna be some pain. In the end, love will reign. Love will reign. Said in His word, weeping may endure the night. Love will conquer all. Love will win the fight. So don't be discouraged. Don't be dismayed. The darkest hour is just before the dawn. Hate will be crushed, fear will be gone, love will remain and go on and on. Though the road seems rough, my friend, we know how the journey is. Oh, yeah. La, da, da, da. La, da, da. La, da, da, da. Oh, oh.
Love will reign. I'm excited to be here. I'm Marcus Holmes, the HR passion guy, but I'm also the love activist, and I'm advocating for a better love for you and me. So if you're watching live on TikTok, on Facebook, where we emanate from the Love and Stuff community page or the Marcus R. Holmes page or any of the groups that we're connected to there, on Instagram live, on YouTube events, or let's see, I said Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch TV. Thank you so much. I want you to take a moment and click share. Tag 5 of your closest friends, connections, subscribers, followers, 5 of the more popular ones to join in tonight's discussion from the inbox. I think you will find it some information that is relevant for you and anyone in your family, in your sphere, that you will find will need this kind of information. So stick with us because I think this is relevant for most folks. Most folks will um, tell you a little bit about their journey through forgiveness. And that's what we're kind of talking about tonight. 10 years of silence. Can you forgive what you can't undo? Because the sister made a decision she regrets every single day. She had their mother cremated against her wishes. Now, 10 days later, the silence between her and her sister is louder than ever. And so tonight on Love and Stuff, we want to unpack one of the hardest questions in relationships. How do you ask for forgiveness when the damage can't be undone? And how do you forgive when the pain still feels fresh a decade later or years later? And we're going to share some of the relationship advice from Gary Chapman and real therapeutic frameworks as we walk through practical, step by step ways to seek forgiveness that will actually land. If you've ever said something you wish you could take back, or if you've ever held on to pain longer than you wanted to or needed to, this conversation is you. So, straight from the inbox, as I have pinned across a few platforms, I see it in a few places. I'm going to have to work to pin it across others. From the inbox, she writes, "Hey, Marcus, I've been carrying something for 10 years and I don't know how to fix it. When my mother passed, she made it clear she didn't want to be cremated. But in the moment, I made the decision to cremate her anyway. I thought it was the best option at the time, but I was wrong. My sister was devastated. And in the argument that followed, I said things I can't even believe came out of my mouth. We haven't spoken since. It's been 10 years, and I regret it all. Not just the decision, but how I treated her. I want to apologize, but I don't even know where to start or if it's too late. How do you ask for forgiveness when you know you caused real pain?" Signed, Regretful Sister. So I want you to drop in the comments whether or not you believe it should be let go or hold on. I want to hear from you in the comments. William Batista from Brazil, thank you for joining over there on TikTok. Tawana Man, thank you for joining here on Facebook. So great to see you. I hope that you will tag someone who may be going through forgiveness or who may need to be in this conversation, because we're going to talk a little bit about the apology framework of Gary Chapman. As you know, in Love and Stuff, we love his work. We ought to have him on. We've done so much around his work. And we want to talk about leading with full accountability and why that is important, um, and why we should consider all apology languages. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about those apology languages. So I want you to stick around so that you can understand those apology languages and walk through some of them. Beverly Cumberlander has joined us. So grateful that you've come through. Tag somebody in this about forgiveness, because tonight we're talking about something that sits heavy in a lot of families and in a lot of relationships. No, it's not cheating. No, it's not money. It's something I think is even deeper: unforgiveness. What happens when someone that you love crosses the line and you don't just feel hurt, you feel like something sacred was violated? So tonight's inbox, a sister hasn't spoken to her sister in 10 years, largely because of one decision and what she said after that. And here's the question that we will wrestle with some tonight. Can you forgive something that cannot be undone? I want you to tell me what you think about that. Type in the chat, forgive, or type hold on. I want to see where you stand. Type forgive or type hold on. All right. Wherever you are across platforms, I'd love to hear from you. Forgive or hold on. All right. I'm going to take a look across platforms really quickly just to see, because I don't see that the comment is populated everywhere. So I'm going to work at making sure we can get it everywhere. It looks like it is on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. All right. So we're missing a couple places where we pinned the topic, but we'll make sure that that is available for you. What do you say? I want to hear from you. Thank you, Ernest Evans. Thank you for joining. Hope you will click share and join in this conversation about forgiveness. You can give us a very interesting perspective, I am sure. Because what we're dealing with tonight is real pain, right? This isn't just about the decision to cremate, right? This is about feeling like your mother's wishes didn't matter, feeling like your voice didn't matter, and then being wounded by the person who you felt was supposed to grieve with you. And for the sister writing in, she's been living with regret. She's been living with guilt. She's been replaying that moment and that decision over and over again. And some folks that are in here tonight and will watch later, aren't you in relationships like this? Have you been? Someone you haven't called, someone you haven't spoken to, someone you avoid at family gatherings, someone you miss, but your pride, your hurt, your pain won't let you fix it. Type me if that's you. Type me if you've not quite moved to forgiveness, or you know there's someone that hasn't quite moved to forgiveness. All right. And I want to make sure we can pin that topic across platforms. I'm going to see if I can pin it in a couple places. I know TikTok has a limit to how many you can characters you can pin. So I want to make sure that at least across other platforms. Sandra Diaz joined us. She says, that's a hard one. I'm split on that. Well, we want to hear more about that. And I'm going to pin the topic so that you can have it over there and click share and tag some folks to join us. So grateful for you to join us over there on Facebook. So excited that you're here. All right. I'm going to try to drop it in the comments. Let me know if it's not populating where you are. Tanya Taylor, thank you so much for joining. So great to see you. I just want to pin the topic. Forgive me over there on TikTok. I know because of the limit of characters that I can do there, I can't really pin like I can do on the other platforms. Somebody write in and tell them about that. They won't let me be great. Okay. I want to make sure. All right. I'm going to head back to making sure that everybody is all set. All right. Where we at? No, where we at? All right. All right. Bear patient with me. All right. All right. Thank you for joining us over there on TikTok, and thank you for joining us on Facebook. All right. I pinned it in a couple places. And so you can take a second to look at that inbox, and we're just to summarize a little bit. The sisters have been estranged because one sister decided to cremate the mother, and it was against her wishes, and it was known that those weren't her wishes. So she hasn't spoken to her sister. She said some mean things afterwards, some of which I will not repeat because it might give a little bit more information than I think she intends. And some of it is just pretty strong that I don't think it is what we want to hear necessarily. So I want to walk you through some steps if you're walking through unforgiveness. because that's tough, right? Uh, a lot of times people want to do the right thing, and sometimes we do the right thing the wrong way. Sometimes people apologize incorrectly. Now, Gary Chapman, who you know, we talk about his um, love languages, also has appreciation languages in the workplace. He also has work that's called the 5 apology languages. And this, I think, is so very important because as we go through them, you may see yourself in one of them. And just as it is true with the love languages, though you speak in one language, you have to speak in the language of the recipient. So when you're apologizing to someone, it is not sufficient. It's not even a good idea to use your language. The framework that you should use is to connect to their language for their way. Because most people, right? Most people apologize in the way that we prefer, right? Right? Not how the other person needs. Forgive me, I'm looking across platforms. Thank you, Sue Star Stanfield. Thank you for joining us. So grateful that you're here. So we're going to talk about the 5. There are 5, and I don't know if you want to capture this, write it down, check in and say that's you. And acknowledging yours is great, but also think about your partner, think about your siblings, think about your children, think about your parents, think about your coworker and what you think their apology language might be. It might be a good conversation piece to have with them. So one of them is expressing regret. I'm going to say the first one, and it might sound something like, I'm deeply sorry for the pain I caused you. I'm deeply sorry for the pain I caused you. It's the one where you say sorry. Okay. I'm deeply sorry for the pain I caused you. Okay. That's expressing regret. Number 1. Okay. The second one is accepting responsibility. That's where you say, I was wrong. This was my decision and I own it that it was wrong. Okay. Accepting responsibility is where you say, I was wrong. All right, Sandra, I see that point. I'm going to raise it in a second. I think it's an important one. Number 3, making restitution, which is my number 1 apology language. It might sound like, I want to honor mom in a way that respects her memory, however you feel is right. Restitution is, I'm going to do some action that repays you and makes you as whole as possible. And for sometimes it's real money restitution, right? When you're wrong. That's my number 1 apology language. That I want you to admit that you were wrong, but I want you to make restitution. Okay. That's number 3. Number 4 is planned change, which is often very popular with spouses, especially female spouses, where you say, I'm going to do this action to prevent from doing that again. And in this case, it might sound like, I've spent years reflecting, if that's true, and I've changed how I handle conflict and family decisions. And going forward, I will honor the wishes of family members. I will consult you before making decisions. It's a planned change. It's a repentance. It's an about face. And what are you going to do in place of it, right? And then 5 is actually requesting forgiveness. I'm asking for your forgiveness. Not expecting that you may necessarily say yes. So it's not, I'm expecting your forgiveness. Now, Sandra D. raises a good point over here on Facebook. She says, when people say, if I did something to hurt you, that is not an apology to me. And according to Gary Chapman, he agrees with you, and so do I. Now, when someone says, if I've hurt your feelings, if I said something that bothered you, if you feel insulted, those are loaded or half-hearted apologies, because you're putting the onus back on me to say, validate how you feel, right? Validate that that is real, instead of saying, I'm sorry, I'm wrong, I will repay you, I will change my behavior, Will you forgive me? Okay. And no conditions to that should be placed in there, right? Because forgiveness is chosen. You owe yourself forgiveness. You choose to forgive others. And so you might say, I understand if you're not ready or if you never are. Because the apology is primarily about repair where you can, not relief from your guilt. Okay. So it's really important. And I wanted to make sure you understood again those 5 apology languages, right? Expressing regret, accepting responsibility, making restitution, planned change, and requesting forgiveness. Okay, so those are the apology languages that you want to find out the apology language of the person to whom you are apologizing. You don't want to speak to them in your apology language, because where you might just say, I was wrong, they want you to express deep regret. Okay. And this is real pain, right? When someone that you loved, you feel has created a breach. Someone that you love, you're avoiding calling or avoiding them at family gatherings. Someone that you miss as part of your life, but you won't let your ego be aside. You won't let your pride be aside, right? And to Sandra D's point, thank you, Joanne Ingram, for joining us. Please click share and tag someone who might need to hear forgiveness, might need to walk in forgiveness. Sandra D said, if you start your apology with I thought or I felt, you've already lost. Accountability sounds like I was wrong. I deeply regret. There's no defense, just truth. Okay? And so that's that step 1, right? Is really delivering it with authenticity in their apology language. Okay? Step 2 is delivery, because sometimes an apology won't land, number 1, if you're not really owning it. 2, right? If you're speaking your language and not theirs. And if you miss their cues, your apology will feel empty to them, right? When you're trying to express regret and you say, I regret you feel that way. I regret that you feel that I should be sorry. I regret that you feel a way about it. I really did what I thought was the right thing. Well, that's not really owning it, is it? No, this was my decision and it was wrong. And oftentimes we have trouble saying that we're wrong. I know I'm a person, I love to be right. I think I always have. But there has to come a time when your love for someone and love to honor and repair the relationship is greater than your need to be right. Especially if that's what they need to hear. That's their apology language, for you to say, I was wrong. In this case, the sister could say, I was wrong in making a decision that I full well knew that our mother wanted. I dishonored her by dishonoring her wishes. I was wrong, and I deeply regret how that impacted you and our relationship. And how can I make amends? What can I do that would help you to forgive me? Will you forgive me? Because going forward, I won't make critical familial decisions, family decisions without garnering your input. That's a way to cover off I. Acknowledge what you did wrong in the apology. That is so correct. Wilma Jean Ruffin, who is, I'm going to say 70 and fine. I don't know if 70 is your actual age, but you look so amazing. Hello. What if you don't know what you did and trying to reach out by using that introduction? You could. Yes. Now, if you've hurt somebody, you should probably know what you've done to them, if you think over it and reflect it. I was just having this coaching conversation with someone earlier, and he said, I don't know what I did. I mean, all of a sudden, I stopped doing this, and then she was mad. I said, listen to yourself. You said, I don't know what I did, but after you stopped doing one thing, she responded one way. Could it be that what you stopped doing led her to being upset? Well, I don't know why that would upset her. I said, that's how you start the conversation. I own my decision that I stopped doing this. Here's why I stopped doing it, but I think that was wrong. Did that hurt your feelings? Let her say, yeah, because you always did this and now I feel this way. So that's great. Mother Wilma, Jean Ruffin, I almost said Wilma, please forgive me, don't spank me. That's great, because there are times that the signals in relationship, have you ever noticed sometimes that when you're not aligned with people, sometimes that's through distance, through frequency, that the signals become dull. There's a time that you could read somebody like this and say, uh-oh, she upset, uh-oh, this. And when you lack that communication regularly, when you lack that interaction regularly, the signals in relationships can be dull, which I was also sharing today. That goes for workplace relationships, all kind of relationships. When you stop talking, when you stop communicating, when you stop interacting, when you stop being in community, the signals that you relay to each other can get misread. They can become dull. And you might, to Mother Wilma's point, you might actually say, wait, did I do something wrong? You might miss a major cue. So it is great to go into a conversation, just as you said. So thank you so much for that. Okay? Because some people aren't aware that they've done something, but they probably missed a cue. And so if you missed a cue, someone's showing up differently, it's incumbent upon you to say, hey, can we have some conversation? I feel things are different, right? Excellent, excellent dialogue. Keep it coming, and click share to have someone join us in this discussion. Okay, so these are reasons why the apology may not land. Now think about it. When you apologize, what words come naturally and what words do you struggle saying? I want you to think about that and drop that in the comments. It's worth you thinking about for a minute. What words come naturally to you and which words do you struggle saying? Because for many people, saying I'm sorry is enough and they expect to move on. But a lot of people have trouble saying those two words, I'm sorry. And that isn't true for everybody, right? Because you can miss the mark or fail to apologize effectively when you just say I'm sorry. Because just as we give and receive love in different ways, each of us gives and receives apologies differently. Okay? So for some, just expressing regret is not going to cut it. They want to hear you say I'm wrong. Why I gotta say I'm wrong? Because you were. And if you were, you got to be able to say it and not mask it in, if you didn't like my decision, I apologize. Well, that's not saying you made the wrong decision. You got to own it and accept it. And while all of the apology languages can be helpful, most people gravitate to one or two. Hearing those 5, which ones are yours? You can drop in the comments. Expressing regret, accepting responsibility, making restitution, planned change, or requesting forgiveness. I want to give you a chance to do that. And while you're doing that, I'm going to just pop in out for a second and allow us to just see one of our fantastic partners. This is June Rochelle Eaton, and she has DetroitCouture.com, her online boutique. Let's learn a little bit about her fashions.
Hi, my name is June Rochelle, and I own Detroit Couture. We are a fashion forward women's boutique, and we offer friendly sizes from small all the way up to 3X women's sizes, very generously fit, very great quality. I actually have on one of our pieces today. It's called the Cuffed Up. It's in gray, burgundy, and black and olive, and it actually has a lot of stretch and give. So listen, in this time, we try to make sure that first of all, it's quality and customer service that we offer our clients. And I'm so glad to have this opportunity to share with you. So go and visit us at DetroitCouture.com.
DetroitCouture.com. June, we absolutely love what you're doing. We thank you for the partnership, and I invite all of you to go there. Listen, she's done several gift giveaways with us. She has amazing pieces. I've even gotten some for my niece, and they were fantastic on her. Durable, lasted, made her as cute and fashionable as can be. I want to encourage you to support DetroitCouture.com. Thank you, June. We're talking from the inbox today, and I hope that you will click share whether you're watching us on Facebook Live from the community page, Love and Stuff, or the Marcus R. Holmes page, or any of the love groups. If you're watching us on TikTok Live, on Instagram Live, on YouTube events, or on Twitch TV, I hope you will take a moment to click share. And Shabro, thanks you for joining us over there on Instagram. I hope you will tag 5 of your closest connections, followers, subscribers, or friends, 5 of the more popular ones to join us in this discussion, which is from the inbox about a sister. Really, we're talking about 10 years of silence. Can you forgive what you cannot undo? This sister made a decision she regrets every single day. She had her mother, their mother, cremated against the mother's wishes. Now, 10 years later, the silence between her and her sister is louder than ever. And so we're trying to unpack one of the hardest questions, 2 of them really. How do you ask for forgiveness when the damage can't be undone? And how do you forgive when the pain still feels fresh, even years, decades later? All right. So we've been looking at some of the Gary Chapman love language, apologies language, to provide some steps that you might utilize, because it matters. If you're giving a partial apology, it could, without full accountability, right? No defense, no context. When you say, I'm sorry, but, you can increase resentment. All right. So you have to take responsibility. And we talked about the 5 apology languages and understanding the other person's apology language to deal with the real pain. Because in this case, this is real pain. And the sister that's writing in is dealing with real pain. She's dealing with real regret, guilt, replaying her decision in the moment over and over again when she said those things to her sister that kept her from calling her, avoiding family gatherings, missing someone, but letting the ego get in the way. So we talked about step 1 is that delivery. And Sandra D gave us something insightful. If you start your apology with I thought, or I felt, or if, you've already lost, because your accountability has to say, I'm wrong. I deeply regret it. I'm changing my behavior, which is similar to a repentance, right? I'm going to pay you restitution. I'm going to repay you. I please forgive me, asking for forgiveness. All right. That's number 1. You have to take accountability. Even though the action can't be undone, you have to take accountability for that action to forge a path forward and ask that individual, what can I do to make amends? While I can't restore that specific decision, I can't take it back. How can I make you whole? And offer some solutions and be open to the solutions that are offered to you. We talked about step 2 is the delivery, which also ties into if you're going to do a loaded apology. Well, if you feel like I insulted you, I apologize. It wasn't my intent to insult you. Now, I may say, I do say, I didn't mean to do that, but I'm sorry that I did. Instead of, I didn't mean to do that, and I'm sorry it hurt you. Is that really accepting the accountability? I kind of danced around it a little bit, didn't I? And we often do that because it's hard for us to say those 2 words. Sometimes, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Anybody know someone like that, or you're like that? If you don't mind telling on yourself, tap that screen or put some hearts or some thumbs up if that is you. All right. Good relationships are always marked by a willingness to apologize, forgive, and reconcile where possible. Okay. It's not always possible, unfortunately, but where possible, that's what you want to do. And Dr. Chapman says apologies are crucial for healthy relationships because no one is perfect. We all need grace. Fractures happen, violations happen, and offenses, he says, are inevitable. But making things right with the ones you love and profess to love doesn't need to be a mystery. You can figure it out. Don't count sweeping things under the rug or growing cold and old after conflict. No, you need to use apology language to help you reconnect, help you repair, in some cases, help you reboot so you can move together in the relationships that matter to you. All right? The relationships that are worth something to you, there should be a willingness to come to reconciliation. All right? Step 3 in the delivery, you don't get to rush forgiveness. Because some of us want to apologize and then get mad at them because they're not over it in 2 days. Get over it. Has anyone ever told you that? Get over it. Get over yourself. Somebody else told me. I said, I'm going to get on you. That's what I'm going to do. Get over yourself. No, you broke it in a moment, but it's going to take more than a moment to heal. Healing is on their timeline, not yours. You can't be impatient because someone is taking their time based on what could have happened in one moment. One moment can obliterate a relationship. It could take nearly a lifetime to restore it. And where you're owning your responsibility is your first step to rebuilding those blocks, those bricks, that relationship, that bridge to connect you both. And you have to have patience. So in that closing, when you're saying, will you forgive me? I completely understand if you can't answer that today or tomorrow or anytime soon. But I want you to know I want your forgiveness. That's hard because you're on the opposite end. You don't know exactly why people have held on to it or how it has impacted them differently than you might have been impacted. You might have think, oh, after 2 years, I'm just over it. Well, every individual is different, and you have to be patient with those that you love. Never giving up, but setting a healthy boundary to say, I've asked for forgiveness, and I'm going to move and navigate as if we're going to get on the path of forgiveness. We might not be there today, but I'm not going to treat you as if we can't repair the breach. Now, the next step that you should do is don't just tell them that you've changed. Show them. Show them. And in this case, where there are still family decisions to be made between these sisters, some that have gone undone for 10 years. Show me that your behavior toward me is changed. Your posture toward me is changed or changing. Because that consistency is speaking louder than the apology. The apology is the step. The consistency is the paving of the road. It's louder, it's brighter, it's longer than the apology. Okay? I want to ask you as I come into the comments, Charles Green, thanks for joining us, and all of those that are on Facebook and TikTok, and those that are on Twitch, hello. And those that are on YouTube events, thank you for coming, as well as those of you that are on Instagram. I want to ask you, would you forgive after 10 years? Drop yes or no. And if you would forgive, what would you need to hear to forgive something like this? Your sibling went against your parents' wishes and cremated one of your parents. I can tell you a true story. I'm not a proponent of cremation. So if, God forbid anything happens to me before Jesus comes for us, and I hope, Lord, please come for me. I do not want to be cremated, or said differently, as my mother might say it, I do not wish to be cremated. But my dad wanted to be cremated, and I was incensed. And I thought, well, he won't know. He won't be here. He won't know. Bless his memory. And my mother, in her sweet way and voice, said, Marcus, that's not your decision. I don't agree with it either. So what did my dad do? A smart thing. He put somebody else in charge, because I might have been the person not honoring his wishes. Would we have fallen out? I don't know. We had experienced so much loss by that time. I'm not so sure. But I think that you have to have these important family conversations to honor the wishes of your loved ones, right? Before you make a decision that might be against their wishes. I want to hear from you. What would you need to hear to forgive someone who went against the family wishes? What would you forgive them after 10 years? Is that something that you could do to forgive them? I'd love to hear from you. I'm going to check the comments across the comments. All right. I see some folks. Okay. Checking across Instagram. Okay. All right. No comments there. Well, we'll give you a chance to comment. I want to tell you about 36 Questions That Lead to Love 2.0. If you're interested in finding love, take a listen to this.
Can 36 questions make you fall in love? What if I told you two young psychologists discovered over 30 years ago that just 36 questions could create real closeness between complete strangers? And that the same questions might lead you to love or help you discover more about yourself than you ever imagined. This isn't a dating gimmick. It's an experiment that's been studied and repeated around the world. People walked in as strangers and walked out feeling deeply connected. Some even got married. But here's the twist. It's not just about romance. These questions open the door to vulnerability, honesty, and self-reflection. They help you see who you are, how you love, and what really matters to you in relationships. So whether you're looking for love or looking to learn more about yourself in the process, click the link, sign up, and let's walk through these 36 questions together. Who knows? Love might just be one question away.
Who knows? Love might just be right around the corner for you. I want you to consider signing up for the 36 Questions That Lead to Love 2.0. We've done this experiment before. I was so intrigued by the experiment. This experiment is from two psychologists who were young psychologists when they met. They met, dated, courted, fell in love, courted. I know I'm dating myself using that word. Fell in love, and then they synthesized the questions that they asked each other and made a part of their psychology experiment. It went viral, and then 30 years later, it went viral again. And so I jumped on it and got people within the Love and Stuff community who didn't have a relationship, didn't know each other. Some knew each other very vaguely, and had them go through the 36 questions that lead to love. Each of them had a certain amount of time in a virtual room. And they learned so much about the journey and so much about themselves. And so if you're looking for love, I want you to consider the 36 questions that lead to love. You will be amazed at what you learn about yourself and possibly what you learn about others. All right. So I'm grateful for 36 questions that lead to love. Beatrice, thank you for joining. Considering the act could not be undone, I only need a sincere I'm sorry. It would bridge the unnecessary gap between loved one. Let's not lose one another. We just lost a family member. Yes. I love it. I love it. And I hope you will click share and tag some folks to join us. Beatrice is one of our Inside of Love and Stuffers, and we want you to join her and meet her inside Love and Stuff, which is our group. And she's always giving thoughtful commentary to our dailies on the Love and Stuff community. We love you, and you keep being amazing. We love you. All right. So we're going to go back to our topic. We've been talking from the inbox, which I hope that is still pinned, a story of some sisters. It's not showing that. There we go. Sisters who haven't spoken for 10 years because one made the decision to cremate their mother against the mother's wishes. And I want to hear from you. Would you be able to forgive her? Beatrice says, hey, the act couldn't be undone, so I only need a sincere I'm sorry. What do the rest of you say? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Drop in the comments whether or not you could find forgiveness in your heart. We walked through many steps about how you can forgive using Gary Chapman's apology languages, which I think are very important. We talked about leading with full accountability, not with defense, right? The research that he has done and others regarding relationship psychology and relationship intelligence shows that partial apologies, I'm sorry, but if you feel this way, those increase resentment. Instead, you can start with, I made a decision that hurt you deeply. I regret it. I was wrong. I made the decision to cremate our mother, which was a violation of her wishes, and I know that hurt you deeply. I was wrong for doing that and wrong for cussing you out afterwards. No explaining away, no deflecting, no justification, just truth. Okay? Now, you could speak all apology languages if you don't know the individual's language. Just make sure it's not just in the way you prefer. We covered two just a moment ago by saying, I'm deeply sorry, I was wrong. I'm owning this decision. You might also say, I want to, have a memorial spot at a cemetery for her or pay for part of the family plot. Whatever you feel would be the appropriate thing to make it whole. I spent some time reflecting, and this is what I'm going to do moving forward. I won't make decisions against family members' wishes. I'll consult you when I'm thinking something that's contrary to their wishes. And if you object, I won't go forward. Will you please forgive me? That covers all five. But if you know the apology language of the person, if they need to hear, I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I'm deeply sorry, I won't do it again, here's what I'll do instead, provide them the apology authentically in the way that their language wiring is, if you will. That's what will make the apology land. Okay, so that's speaking all five languages if necessary. Number one was leading with full accountability. Okay, and again, those five languages are expressing regret, something like, I'm deeply sorry for the pain I've caused, accepting responsibility. This was my decision. I own it and I was wrong. Making restitution. I want to repay you. I want to restore you. I want to make you whole. Planned change is number 4. I will not do it again. Here's what I will commit to doing next time. Here's what I won't do. Here's what I will do. And requesting forgiveness. Will you forgive me? Okay, that's the apology languages. 3, give them control of the timeline, releasing the outcome. Because forgiveness is chosen. Forgive yourself and allow them to choose to forgive you. So you got to be understanding if they're not ready. So you might even say, I understand if you don't accept my apology today, if you're not ready, or if you're never ready, I want you to know that I'm asking for forgiveness. The apology should primarily be about repair, not relieving yourself from guilt or regret. Sure, it could do that, but the primary focus should be repairing where it's possible, right? Reconciliation where it's possible, right? Okay. Number 4 is show change through action, not words, because that's how you rebuild the trust. You rebuild trust through pattern, not promises. Okay. That could be regular letters or emails if you're away from each other. There's a distance and the feelings are still too intense. If there's some public or private way in which you could honor, in this case, your parent, that would align with her wishes. And staying in humility when communication resumes, not letting pride or ego get in the way. Oftentimes, forgiveness is more easily granted when people can trust you and believe that the pain won't repeat. That's through consistent action that undergirds that apology. That apology is the first step, and that consistency paves the road forward. Okay, so number 4 is show change through action, not words. Rebuild trust through pattern, not promises. Okay. I want to hear from you. Still looking for some of you to drop in the comments across platforms to let me know, do you think that you could forgive if 10 years was the distance between, based on something someone has done to you? What would you need to hear to forgive something like this? Let's keep that conversation going in the comments across all platforms. And as we come down to our last 5 minutes, forgiveness is not saying it didn't matter. Forgiveness is not saying get over it. It's time passed. It's really deciding that it won't control me anymore. If there is someone who you're holding an odd against, you're holding some transgression against, you have to ask yourself at some point, am I in control? Is it controlling me? And for the one or ones who might be seeking forgiveness, don't let 10 years go by. You're blessed if 10 years could go by, but you've missed 10 years of fellowship, friendship, fun, family. But don't let another 2 years go by, 10 years go by. If you're seeking forgiveness, say it. Own it. Release it. Because sometimes that healing that you're praying for is just on the other side of a conversation that you're afraid or too prideful to have. If this resonates with you at all, I would love for you to share it. Share it with someone who needs it. And if you're ready to fix what's broken, I want us to talk more, because April is typically a focus month around setting healthy boundaries in our Love and Stuff community, especially inside Love and Stuff. We have a 12-month self-care, and we believe that self-care is simply your love and your gratefulness speaking to your worthiness. I truly believe that when we are not caring for ourselves well, we are not thinking well of ourselves. And it, to me, is perfectly aligned with the quintessential love. God is love. He is love. And he's written chapters, I don't know if you know this, about us in love, in the hopes to woo us into relationship with him, to get us in alignment with him, that we would love him with everything we have. I'm paraphrasing, and love our neighbors as ourselves. Jesus said, on these two commandments hang all the laws and all the prophets. Notice I said, love God with everything you got. He is love, right? He's the perfect picture of it. And we're in his image, and he wants us to love him and our neighbor as ourselves, which means there is a third part of this love, component of this love, if you will, self-love. Now, how are you loving yourself if you don't take care of yourself? And caring for yourself has also to do with how you manage the stressors in your life. And imagine a heavy burden that you have to carry every day that's invisible. Nobody sees it, but it impacts how you walk, how you talk, how you carry yourself, how you move. That could be unforgiveness. It could be preventing you from loving yourself well. So we're on a 12-month journey to love ourselves well because we find ourselves worthy of love. And I hope you'll join that journey. We started in January, as we always do, with having a good night's sleep. Wait, it's the beginning of the year and you're going to sleep? Yes, because the better your rest is, the better your life will be, the better your energy will be, the better your health will be, and the science and the studies back it. We have sleep videos on the YouTube channel is where we could store them. And it's a sleep video for every day of the week for 8 hour sleep. Really, it is just the audio and white noise music playing in your background to help you sleep better. February, it was all about eating to live and not living to eat. Changing what you eat, how frequent you eat it, so that it is nourishment to your body and not maybe numbing something else, right? March was all about marching into fitness. And there is Murdy Kearney, one of the most fit seniors I know. Thank you for joining us down from Houston. And deciding that you're going to get mobile, you're going to get moving, you're going to have movement in your life before and after meals, exercising as appropriate as you can, even in light cardio, even in calisthenics or whatever movement, get moving, which is always a struggle for me. I'm moving, but not in that way. And I got to, do more of it, but we're challenging ourselves to do that. And then in April, setting healthy boundaries. That also means not living in unforgiveness, which can be a tough thing to do, especially if you feel that you have been wronged and the people who have wronged you don't feel wrong at all. Ask yourself, is it eating you up? Is it controlling you? Are you controlling it? If you're ready to answer those questions, we want you to just drop ready so we can connect with you and talk with you inside Love and Stuff. We may also connect you with some people whose pedigree it is to talk to you about these things, because sometimes we need that in conversation. But if you're dealing with unforgiveness, we want to help you in your path forward. Drop in the inbox across any platform if you don't want to drop it in the comments, and we will invite you into another conversation that we're going to have about unforgiveness. I hope that if you're like this sister who knows you need to do something different, that you will do differently what needs to be done. And in many cases, you have to be the person to take the first step, especially if you're the person that has injured someone else. Don't be fooled. You have to make a move. The power of darkness would want you to say, I only did that because if you find yourself making excuses for what you've done as an adult, you are probably trying to negotiate your guilt at a level that it won't spend more than you're worth. Don't let guilt be your value. Let forgiveness be the currency for your relationships to thrive. All right, Beatrice says, let's follow the teachings of Jesus. To follow someone's example may alleviate the pressure to forgive on your own. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Howard Fontroy has joined. Wow, this is amazing. Thank you, sir. Unforgiveness is a huge burden to bear. Maybe not today, but you will definitely feel the effects of it in your life. And listen, Beatrice, you're preaching good, as they would say, because oftentimes it's like an invisible burden, isn't it? You're carrying it, and people can see that you're weighed down. They might not know what the source is, but your posture changes when you're burdened. Your outlook could change when you're burdened, right? The way you move, the way you navigate, the way you interact will change when you're burdened. That's why when I'm going to say Mother Wilma Jean Ruffin, because she is the mother of one of my contemporaries, I'll say, who is Lady Lenine Morgan. Her mom, so I can't call her really by her first name. That's just how, I might say Miss Wilma, because I'm fully grown, but you don't call your elders by their first name. That's where I come from. But she said something earlier that I thought was, thought provoking. What if the person doesn't know what they've done? And to me, oftentimes when the signals of our relationship, the signals misfire, meaning they don't connect like they used to. Have you ever been in a relationship and it's kind of dull? It's dull because you aren't talking like you used to, spending time like you used to. You're missing each other's cadence like you used to. Well, the signals get dull and you might misread or not read when someone is telling you they're upset. I was just having the conversation earlier with a gentleman who said, I don't know what I did wrong. She's so mad with me. I said, well, go back, step back. What steps did you take? He said, well, I stopped doing this. And soon after that, she started, acting funny. I said, I want you to repeat what you just said to me. He said, I stopped doing that, stopped doing this. And she started doing this. She started acting funny. I said, do you think she was responding to that you stopped doing? Did she enjoy what you do? He said she adored it, but I stopped doing that because of this. I said, did you have a conversation? I thought she would know. I said, your senses are dull. You're thinking that she is ebbing and flowing with you, and she's not aware that you're stopping this because of something. And you're not telling her, I'm stopping this because of something. And she's responding to the fact that you stopped without either of you having any dialogue about it. Sometimes our senses get dull. So I ask you to think about it. When someone seems upset with you and you're like, I can't trace it, you probably can. You can probably say, okay, quintessential love, okay, God, okay, Jesus, aliven my senses so that I can be more in tune to the person I'm in relationship with. Something's off. And then go to them and say, something's off. They might say, duh, you did this. And then you got to make a decision that you're going to own it and say, you know what? I did do that. I'm sorry. Instead of, well, I didn't mean to do that. And I didn't mean to hurt you. If you hit me and you didn't mean for it to hurt, doesn't mean you didn't hit me. And it did hurt. So acknowledge that so that the relationship, the trust can be rebuilt on a path to move you forward. This has been a great love and stuff. I hope that whether you're watching us on TikTok, if you're watching us on Twitch, if you're watching us on YouTube events, if you're watching us on Instagram or from Facebook, where we emanate from the Love and Stuff community page, that you will do two things. That you'll keep the conversation going by dropping in the comments your thoughts, and that you will click share and tag someone to join us in this conversation, to keep it going in the comments so that we can continue to talk about setting healthy boundaries around forgiveness, You might not make it time bound, but it shouldn't take your lifetime to make an effort to get forgiveness. I'm Marcus Holmes. I'm the love activist. I'm advocating for better love for you and me. For some of you, it is the love, the amorous love. You want a boo, a bae, a spouse, and that's amazing. For some of you, you want to love yourself better. You want to love your parents better. You want to caregive for them better. You want to love your children better. You want to restore a relationship with your spouse, with your siblings, rather, with your cousin, them. You want to have better workplace relationships. Whatever the love interest is for you, now is the time. Now is the season to lean into love. We're living in a world that feels loveless, doesn't it? There are things happening in government, in the nation, in our nation, in the world that feels void of love. But what if you and I take some responsibility and say we can increase the amount of love in the world, one person, one neighbor, one community, one school, one church, one place at a time? If that resonates with you, I want you to click the notification bell at the top of your page so that you can connect with me and stay connected and keep this conversation alive. And we will see you soon. Don't forget, Saturday mornings at 11 a.m., there's another kind of love going on. It's two fellas who love all things sports. And ladies, if you want to learn about sports, because you want to be there with your man while he's watching the game and give him some halftime education, join Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. These fellas love sports. They'll teach you about sports and they'll have you laughing about sports. It's a great way to start your Saturday morning. And I hope that you will join us all in the Love and Stuff Network and Sphere. We want to give you things that you will love and that you will share. Thanks for joining us tonight. Have a grateful evening, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. 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 Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Born and bred, saved by love, count my blessing from above.